Away from the media glare and the hustle bustle of Delhi is the Chawla household in the Asiad village. One can feel the presence of Kalpana Chawla the minute one steps onto the threshold. On the center of the main door is a small sticker of Columbia's Space Shuttle. Adorning the living room and the study are the proud photographs of Kalpana and her crew members from the shuttle. But what about the little Kalpana? That's where the story starts. Suffice it to say that her heart was always in that vast firmament above us, a young girl of imagination right from the beginning. Her friendly neighborhood uncle, who had a keen interest in astronomy, used to tell her about the planets and the stars. He used to say, "Look, there's Venus in all her light and beauty. And there is Saturn. And look at the angry red Mars. The world goes round and round, and the stars look on the wonders of our earth. Here's India and our Ganga that you said you saw from the sky. The people worshipping at her banks, people dancing with happiness on the other side, and the great waters in between."
When you look at the stars of the galaxy, you feel that you're not just from any particular piece of land, but from the solar system. I always lived with my dreams. Sometimes I even forgot to eat from my thali that my mother put in front of me. My mother would stand in front of me, arms folded across, looking at me balefully.
ਹਾਏ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਐ ਵੇਖ ਤੇਰਾ ਪਰਾਂਠਾ ਵੀ ਠੰਡਾ ਪੈ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਲੱਸੀ ਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਹੁਣੇ ਤੱਕ ਚੱਖੀ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਐ
But one must remember the bright things. When I was going to high school back in India, growing up, I think I was very lucky that we lived in a very small town called Karnal. It was one of the handful of towns at that time which had a flying club. Me and my brother, sometimes we would be on our bikes looking up, which you shouldn't be doing, trying to see where these airplanes were headed. One of the first mail flights that JRD Tata had flown hangs in one of the aerodromes out there. And while growing up, it definitely captivated my imagination. And even when I was in high school, when people asked me what I wanted to do, I knew I wanted to be an aerospace engineer. In hindsight, it's actually interesting to me that just some of the very simple things helped me make my mind up that that's the area I want to pursue. He is wandering around Karnal having fun with his friends. Just because I'm a girl, Papa ji did not let me go. Uncle ji, why can't girls do anything in India?
ਇਹ ਸੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਤੇਰੇ ਵਰਗੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਤਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੂੰ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਲਪਨਾ ਨੂੰ ਆਸਮਾਨ ਤੱਕ ਉੱਡਣ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਗੋਂ ਹੋਰ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ
ਹਾਏ ਕਿਹੋ ਜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੀ ਐ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਐ ਕੋਈ ਆਦਮੀ ਇਹੋ ਜੀ ਵੋਟੀ ਚਾਹੇਗਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਦਿਨ ਰਾਤ ਬਸ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਰਹੇ
What connection does this have with engineering? Whatever I do, whatever I say, you take the subject back to marriage.
ਪਰ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਇਹ ਤੇ ਔਰਤ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਵਿਆਹ ਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਆਪਣਾ ਘਰ-ਬਾਰ ਸੰਭੇ
But it is my duty to care for the world, to show them a new light.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸ ਇਹ ਕੀ ਤੂੰ ਰੋਸ਼ਨੀ ਲਾਈ ਫਿਰਦੀ ਐ ਤੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਇਲੈਕਟ੍ਰੀਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਐ
Indian women are ruled by their destiny. First, their decisions are influenced by their parents, and after marriage, by their husbands. I was a very lucky Indian girl who held up to her parents' objections to my higher studies in aeronautical engineering from Punjab Engineering College. Even more than that, I have a husband who is a true friend. Funnily enough, there was no objection when I told them that I was marrying a French American. I suppose they were just glad that I had found someone who didn't mind my brains. I was no longer be the little girl who grew up in Karnal. Jean-Pierre, I'm such a lucky girl to have found you for a husband. We have spent so much time together, with me learning to fly and you teaching me. But what about putting this earth inside out? Let's explore what happens inside the sea as well, breathing underwater. Look! Sea lions! I thought it must be so serene underneath the restless waves. But quite the contrary, it was all action. Do you remember the sea lions coming off the rocks? Once they saw us, they started swimming in between us, nibbling on our fins. And once we realized that we were among company, we stopped. One of the smaller lions actually approached me, nose to nose on my mask. Life stood still. I had been holding my breath a bit and then let out a few bubbles. And the pup was then snapping at the bubbles. It was hysterical. I was laughing the entire time. And now I love diving with the sea lions.
And I love going hiking in your own land. Remember the birds? Little astronauts. They flew away in a twinkling of an eye. What fun we had, collecting marbles. You were intrigued by their texture, shapes, and various sizes. We played marbles like little children and laughed till we choked. You're not just my wife, you're my friend. May this friendship grow year by year till we are nodding our heads together in old age.
Dr. Kalpana Chawla joined the NASA Astronaut Corps in March 1995 after gaining both her master's and her doctorate in aerospace engineering. She was selected for her first flight in 1996. Her joy at the beauty of our Earth will always be remembered.
Earth is very beautiful. I wish everyone could see it. The coolest thing for me is the experience of floating and not feeling my weight, and hanging by a window just after sunset, and watching the stars in the big black dome of sky as the Earth moves underneath.
It so happened that in the spring of eternity, a young woman sees space as the start of her adventure. It was liberating. She was part of the Earth that she loved, and yet she was above it. Closeness and distance, all part of the same experience. She wanted to grasp more and more and more, to continue life's journey, to encourage others behind her.
It was starting to get dim outside, so you got to see your own reflection. And there is the Earth, and you can still see the Earth's surface and the dark sky overhead. And I could then see my reflection in the window, and in the retina of my eye, the whole Earth and the sky could be seen reflected. So I called all my crew members one by one, and they saw it. And they said, "Oh wow."
But it was not to be. It was a story from grand beginnings to the Big Bang. Kalpana's first opportunity to fly in space came in November 1997 aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia. It made 252 orbits of the Earth in just over 2 weeks. The shuttle carried a number of experiments and observing tools on its trip, including a Spartan satellite which she deployed from her spacecraft. In 2000, she was selected for her second voyage into space, serving again as a mission specialist. The mission was delayed several times and finally launched in 2003. Over the course of the 16-day flight, the crew completed more than 80 experiments. A year after the tragedy, a series of tests proved her shuttle was damaged. A piece of foam insulation from Columbia's external fuel tank broke off and hit the left wing of the craft just 81 seconds after the shuttle lifted off on January 16, 2003. The ship was destroyed 16 days later as it cut through Earth's atmosphere in preparation for landing. Hot gases seeped inside the ship's damaged wing, melting the structure from inside and causing it to disintegrate in the upper atmosphere. Similar foam impacts had occurred during the prior shuttle launches, but NASA did not believe that the foam could cause significant damage. Kalpana Chawla had a keen interest in music, particularly the likes of Pink Floyd, Deep Purple, and the Sufi queen Abida Parveen. Her favorites include the Deep Purple hit Smoke on the Water. Kalpana was in love with the music of Abida Parveen. It would always relax her and uplift her mood. Her mother says, even today, this song reminds her of Kalpana and makes her feel like she is still around her.